So I realized when I come up here, and there's a lot of people. What up in the back row? Holla. Hey. I realized when I came up here before, I was really nervous, but then I realized, oh, well, this is my story, and I'm really happy to tell it. So I'm not nervous anymore. Glad to see you guys. Okay, so sometimes I'm a better communicator through written letter. So I wrote it down. So just bear with me. So I think the theme of my story is my relationship with God and journey through life, which I feel like is everyone's testimony, right, who becomes a believer. But it starts like this. I grew up thinking I was all good, or so they say, because I did the right thing. When I went to Mass with my parents, prayed all my Hail Marys, I got baptized, and when my family moved to Georgia, we started attending a Baptist church. Lo and behold, did the right thing. I raised my hands during worship. Watch out, I even closed my eyes sometimes. I was set. I knew John 3:16 like the back of my hand. Except in reality, I really knew nothing. My life was based off of what I did. It was a life full of pride, thinking that I had the strength to be my own savior. My story takes a turn. I graduated high school in 2008. Don't calculate, please. And started attending college in Virginia. Whoop whoop. Fast forward to August 28th, 2008. I was in my second week of classes, and I was in a theology course. And this is when my view of being good and what I could contribute took a turn. We had a guest speaker today. Not today. Okay, I'm a guest speaker, but I'm talking about back then. And he kept talking about, he mentioned a relationship with God, And if you've been in the church for a day, you probably have heard that term. And so in my mind, going to Mass and then going to Baptist or a church, like early on in my life, it was not new to me. But I remember God opening my eyes to see that I was trying to do everything to get to God. Instead, God showed me that day that by grace, through faith, that we are saved. And it's not anything that we can do. It's not of works, because if it was, we could boast in those works. And it's not that. I learned what a relationship with God meant that day, and I am forever grateful. It's a life turning away from the things that kept me far from God, the temporary lusts, the temporary pleasures of this world, and turning towards God, who promises not that life is going to be easy, promise that, rather that life is going to be filled with joy, knowing that God is in control and he's with us every single step of the way. Since that time, life has been a roller coaster, and inevitably so. Christian life, regardless of what some may say, it's not full of butterflies and rainbows and leprechauns and all the fun and fluffy things, right? It's about Jesus. It's about the abundance of life that he gives that no worldly possession could satisfy. It's about a life of surrender to what God has, no matter what. It's about being free from the things that shackle us, entangle us, and living for something that has eternal significance. Okay, fast forward with me. 2 years ago, my friend invited me to go to a job fair with her in Mississippi. I went. During that time, I loved my job, my boss. Who can say that? I loved my boss. I loved where I lived, my friends, my house, everything. The Lord taught me a lot during that time. However, I soon realized that living a life for Christ isn't one of comfort, it's one of obedience. But as I went to the fair, I realized that the Lord is so much greater than I had ever imagined. I realized his plans for us may lead to some bizarre places, #Korea. But I also realized with my relationship with God, I would never be alone through it all. Life is full of hardships and joys, but a life lived for the Lord is full of fullness of joy, even through the hardships. So today, I am, like Pastor Joel mentioned, I am a theology teacher at Youngsan International School of Seoul, and I know that is where the Lord has me. So he took me from a place where I thought I could do everything to be my own savior, and now he's allowing me to see growth. He's allowing me to see life in other students and seeing the fruits of that, and I am eternally grateful. So to sum up, my life before the Lord was things that I thought I could do. And my life now, even though it's hard and even though there are bumpy roller coasters, I know that this life is one that's going to be hard, but the Lord is with me every step of the way, and I would not trade it for anything that this world could offer. So, thank you for listening. Happy Easter.